Hi everyone, how you doing? I hope you had a good day today. And I bet you've been out and about and playing. Well, it's back to school tomorrow. So I'm back to home working and being good for mummy and daddy. And yeah, doing your very, very best. So until then, it's time for story time tonight. And tonight I'm going to read you from Wizards and Witches, and I'm going to read you a story called Big Eyes, the Enchanter. So if you're sitting comfortably, then Nana will begin. Big Eyes the Enchanter had found a most marvellous spell. It was made of moonshine, starlight, the roots of mountains, the footfalls of a weasel, the breath of a fish, and the smell of rain. Wow! It was stirred up with a hoodlebird's tail feather and boiled on a piece of shining ice. It was the most powerful spell in the world. It would make Big Eyes the Enchanter king of all the lands on earth. He could do what he liked. Oh, what a time he would have. Big Eyes was not a pleasant fellow. He didn't like flowers, and he didn't like animals, and he hated children. He couldn't bear fairies. He spanked every elf he met, and he hated to hear anyone laughing. When I use my spell and make myself king of all the lands on earth, I will destroy the flowers everywhere, he cried. I will shut all the animals up underground, and I will make all the boys and girls work hard for me, from the moment they are 3 years old. As for the fairies and elves and goblins and pixies, I'll send the whole lot to the bottom of the sea. Oh, what a time I will have. He looked at the spell. It was shimmering in a great blue cauldron stirred by his servant, a big lad with a stupid grinning face. When Big Eyes looked at his book of magic, he wanted to find out exactly when the spell would work. At last he found what he wanted to know. This spell, when made, will only act on Midsummer Day at 5 o'clock in the morning, he read. Aha! Then I'll set my alarm clock for 4:30 and get the spell working at 5 exactly. Then thunder and lightning will come, and when the spell has stopped, everyone will be my slave. The night before Midsummer Day, the enchanter set his alarm clock to go off at 4:30, and then he went to bed, full of excitement to think of all the power he would have the next day. His servant, the grinning lad, had been told to keep awake all night and stir the spell to keep it sweet. The enchanter had excited dreams. He dreamt that he was a monarch on a golden throne, set with all the rare jewels of the world. He dreamt that not a single flower blossomed on the earth. He dreamt that all the puppies and kittens, chicks and ducklings, calves and lambs were hidden away from the sunshine deep in the heart of the earth. He dreamt that all the boys and girls no longer played, but worked all day long for him. Sweet dreams for the wicked enchanter. On and on he dreamt. And at last he woke up. No alarm bell woke him. He woke up himself. He looked at the clock. It was 3:30. Not time to get up yet. He lay and waited. And then he looked at the clock again. When about half an hour had gone, it was still 3:30. What a strange thing. The enchanter listened for a moment, and he could hear no ticking. The clock had stopped at 3:30 in the morning, and he'd forgotten to wind it up in his excitement the night before. The village clock began to strike outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 o'clock. The right minute for the working out of the spell was past. It wouldn't come again until a year was past. In a fearful rage, the enchanter sprang out of bed. Why hadn't the servant lad warned him when the clock had stopped? He was supposed to keep awake all night and stir the blue cauldron. The boy was fast asleep, poor lad, his head resting on the cauldron. Big Eyes took him by the shoulder and shook him in a fury. The boy woke up in fright, and, thinking that the enchanter was a thief come in the night, he struck out with all his might. Biff! The enchanter fell to the ground, and as he fell, he caught the cauldron to save himself. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle! The shimmering spell inside upset all over him, and he lay on the ground. The servant lad watched in terror. What would his master do to him now? He would beat him surely, or at least turn him into a frog or a beetle. The spell acted strangely. It altered the enchanter bit by bit. he changed slowly into an old man. An old ragged man with a long ragged beard and a bald head. He became a beggar man and slowly rose from the ground and went out to stand at a corner to beg from passers-by, and the little children were sorry for him and gave him pennies. Sometimes he remembered how he had been a great enchanter, and then he would shake his head and mutter, "Oh, I could have ruled the world, but I forgot to wind up the clock." As for the servant lad, what became of him? He got such a terrible fright that he ran off to sea, and one day he told his story to me. At the end he shook his head and said, "It was a good thing my master forgot to wind up his clock at night." And dear me, I think it was too. Wow, how awful it would have been if he had have wound his clock up and done all those terrible things he wanted to do. Not a nice man at all. So let's be thankful he forgot. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Sleep well, and I will see you again in the morning. I love you loads and loads. So night-night, Torben, love you. Night-night, Atty, love you. Night-night, Ruby, love you. And night-night, little Max, I love you. Be good. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.